Hey everyone, welcome back to the B-Movie Bunker. Today we're looking at 2012's 100 Bloody Acres, brought to us by Colin and Cameron Cairns. This one comes out of Australia. I'm going to start with, Australia has a history of making odd, quirky little films, and that's exactly what this one is. We have the story of two brothers, Reg and Lindsay, who run an organic fertilizing company, and they want to be the top dogs of organic fertilizer. And they have a pretty highly sought after product, thanks to a very special ingredient that is added to their fertilizer, although the source for their ingredient has run low and they have a big order coming up. Enter Sophie and her two friends, whose car breaks down on the way to a music festival. This one, it's definitely a bit more comedy than it is horror. Horror in the fact that of what is in the fertilizer. If you haven't guessed already, come on, it's pretty obvious. Although it's, dark comedy, black comedy, as it were. I think the movie plays very well. I think you get some good blood effects when there is gore. The gore is actually done pretty darn well. I like the gore effects in this one. I also like the acting. I think the acting is done quite well. And I think you have some characters that create some likable characters. Reg, I think, is actually a pretty likable character, and Sophie is pretty cool as well. I like the fact you've got some great witty quips going back and forth. You've got some physical comedy, but not to the point where it's so absurd that it takes you out of the movie. This one thing is, I like physical comedy to a degree, depending on what it's in. In a movie like this, there has to be a limit as to what you do, because otherwise it becomes too over the top, and that's a different kind of movie. If that's what you're going for, fine, but this movie wasn't trying to be that. I think they balanced it quite well with the humor. And I like the backdrop as well. On a scale of 1 to 10, this is kind of like, it's kind of like Motel Hell meets, what's a nice, lovely farm movie? Charlotte's Web? Babe? Yeah, Babe, something like that. That kind of thrown together, along with a bit of kind of Romeo and Juliet thing going on, too. So yeah, it's like a Romeo and Juliet, Babe, Motel Hell thing, what kind of baby that would be, that kind of three-headed beast that this would be. I enjoyed it. I laughed. There were definitely some laugh out loud moments in this one. You're not going to have tons of jump scares. Like I said, this one is more comedy horror than horror comedy. So, but I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's definitely worth a watch. Generally, I'm pleased with almost everything I watch out of Australia, because if nothing else, it's going to be different. Even the ones that aren't that great are still at least different to some degree, because there's just something about Australia, and just something. But that's all I've got for this one. Till next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, folks.